Hi everyone, this is Eric Shen from Signify China. First, I'd like to thank Yap for inviting us and thank everyone working behind the scene to make this sharing happen. I think this is the first time a lighting designer from China could have the opportunity to present in this platform. And Richard and I, we are both excited to be here. But before the sharing, allow me to have a simple introduction on our company Signify and its many brands. As you might already know, Signify the company is named, it's not shown in the shops, but we do have the best brands in the world, more than 50 to be specific. Philips is our brand, primary brand for lamps and luminaires. In the professional space, the software managing them is Interact, and we have around 30 lighting brands. Here, I will just introduce some few, like, Philips Hue is a world-leading lighting smart home brand, and Color Kinetics is for architecture lighting and used in the lighting many of the world's like landmarks, for example, Empire State buildings. And Signify is a world-leading lighting company. We produce high-quality, energy-efficient lighting products, systems, and services. Our products are in three key areas: light sources, luminaires, and system and service. We are the global leader in both conventional LED and connected lighting system and service. In year 2021, we generate the sales revenue more than 6.9 billion, and nearly twice as our nearest competitors. Around 84% of our sales are from sustainable products, and we have employed over 36,000 people in more than 64 countries. And the core to our business is sustainability, not only our energy efficient product, as well as our operation as a company. Signify has achieved 100% carbon neutrality in September 2020, and we have been in Dow Jones Sustainability World Index since our IPO. And next, let me introduce today's guest presenter, Richard Wang, sitting next to me. Richard Wang is the general manager and chief lighting designer of ATL Lighting, as well as the founder of ATL Lighting. Richard is one of the most famous and prestigious lighting consultants in China, especially for his marvelous and fantastic practices in lighting for religious architectures in China. Today, he will bring us the topic in lighting for interior spaces. Let's welcome Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Hello, everyone. I'm Richard Wang. Today, I'm glad to talk about the lighting design in interior space, especially those worship places. My topic is about how to reveal the spirit of place with light. In our living world, what is place? It is not simply a site, a location, but a whole of substances, the essence, shape, texture, and color. All of these elements combine together to be an environmental character. So what we talk about the concept of place, the environment are related to our human living and our working. The concept of spirit of place is coming from the Roman mythology. And actually in Japanese and Chinese culture, we have the similar belief that everything has its God and every place is the same. So before my formal sharing, I would like to take some minutes to introduce myself. And I'm Richard Wang, a lighting designer in Shanghai, from Shanghai, China. And actually, my first job, I get my first job from Philips Lighting China, and as a professional sales engineer. And later, I create Shanghai ATL Lighting Design Company. So we have completed a lot of projects in China, and I was lucky to win some lighting awards both in China and also we win the award of IES 2020 Excellence Award and this year's ILD Award. So my hometown is in East China, a small village of Anhui Province. And it was also called Huizhou, a place with a lot of mountains. And actually, the word of Hui is a compound word. So you can see the left side, 2 person, and the middle top, it is mountain, and below the mountain is the water, and right is culture. So Huizhou is a beautiful place with a lot of mountains and small rivers, and has thousands of history and rich culture. And here's a landscape of typical Huizhou village. You can see the trees, the mountains, and the traditional Chinese houses with white walls and tiles. So, and this picture I think is also you can get the spirit of the exterior place. And left is a poem written by a very famous neo-Confucianist, Wuxi. He was born at Huizhou in Song Dynasty. And here is a bigger map of the village. And it is actually is a World Cultural Heritage. I'm not born, it was called Hongcun. I was not born in this village, but my hometown is similar as it. And it is quite interesting. In the village, most of the persons have the same surname as me, Wang. So that means we belong to the same family long years ago. So I created the ATL lighting design in Shanghai in about 2006. At the beginning, it's a very small office, and now we have 15 lighting designers. And here's our design principles. We always put user first. And we would like to use the latest technologies of lighting in our design. Cannot hear. So I will be louder. And we have done a lot of projects, including interior lighting design and outdoor lighting design. We focus on religious and tourism projects. And every year we will work about 40 to 50 projects 1 year. So now let's talk about the interior design and interior lighting design. In my opinion, interior design is a process to create a loud space from emptiness. And in a sense, the interior designer work as something like the creator. Sure, they will not create things from nothing. They will get the instruction from owner and also with the help of other professionals, including our lighting designer. So the first is the functional part, but the second is the visual, the spirit part. And the relation between interior design and interior lighting design, in my opinion, I think lighting first is the most important elements in interior. It will satisfy all the needs in the interior space, including our working, our living. We will communicate in the inner space, but also lighting need to reveal the space, the character, and inspire the spirits in interior space. So who are we? I think for interior lighting, for interior, we work as more like a consultant. Actually, we are the helper of interior designer. We do not create something alone. So we work like the hand of the king for interior design, who actually is the king of interior. And it is we use light to govern the interior space. So to be a good lighting designer, I think we have to be both rational and emotional. We will work as an engineer, but at the same time, we should work as an artist, since we will put ourselves in our projects and to explore all the possibilities of the interior space. Let's trace back to the development of interior lighting design. At the first stage, with the invention of electric power and an incandescent lamp and high-intensity discharge lamps, how to light up our living and working environment was the main task. And here's a table listing the lighting levels of most of the interior spaces. The rule is quite simple. The more precise of our work or activity, we need more light on our working plane. And then we go to the qualitative lighting design stage. Here, Richard Kelly was a lighting master. He's a pioneer lighting master in the world. He defined three forms of light from his experience in stage lighting, which is ambient luminescence, then the focal glow, then the play of brilliance. So the ambient luminance to help us to get the general illumination of the surrounding, which facilitates general orientation and activity. But it is focal glow to absorb our attention to the important elements. And then the play of brilliance, which came from the fact that light not only draw our attention to information, but also represent information in and out of itself. And another lighting master, he's called William Lamb. He pushed the quality lighting design to a higher level from the point of view of space users. He specified two kind of needs in interior. It is activity needs and biological needs. And in his point of view, lighting should satisfy the orientation in the space and the discernibility, and also facilitate the communication of the users. And here's the lighting design process, the whole process. I think every stage is very important, but the most important, I think, is in the schematic design. Since in this stage, we need to understand our space fully and thoroughly. What is the function in the space? How about the structure of the space? And what kind of the materials? How about the layout of furniture? And what kind of arts will be present? And who will be the user in this space? So only after we explored all the information about the space that we can work out a suitable lighting proposal for the space. And here's the grading system for me to judge if we have done our work properly. And at the basic level, we should satisfy the functional lighting, the clarity. Then the second level, we will create a comfort environment for the users. And only at the third level, if we create the quiet identity of the space and to reveal the spirit of the space, that we can get a full score. So now let me talk about some of our projects. The first one is Wuxi Buddha Palace. This project was located in Wuxi, near Taihu Lake. It is a religious project, looks like a palace, and at the left wing, it is a meeting area, and the right wing is a catering area. And in the middle X line, it is a space for tourism and for worship. And here is a section of the central corridor hall and the tower hall. And so this space is very high and spacious. It goes the space of typical West cathedral, but it will treasure Chinese traditional arts and crafts. And when I began my lighting design, I had to find something for benchmarking. And actually, I studied some grand hotels and learned from the St. Peter's Basilica, and I also studied some museums and operas. And we have to define the layers of lighting in the corridor hall. And the most important is the paintings, and then the flying asparagus. So we even list the layers of the lighting. So for the wood, also in this space, there are a lot of wood carvings, and the ceiling is a traditional Chinese. And now let me show you the picture of this project. Here is the lobby. You can see the entrance hall. You can see the traditional white marble gate. We designed 2 lines of white light. It is 4,200 Kelvin metal halide, because it is we designed this project in 2007, and we try to create a sense of daylight washing into the space. And here is the corridor hall, and in this hall, our focus actually is on the paintings as the 2 side walls, and also the flying asparagus near the vault. In the corridor and tower hall, at the very beginning, the chief interior designer planned to bring some daylight into the space, but later she abandoned the idea because a lot of technical difficulties such as how to control the daylight and how to solve the cooling in summer, and etc. was beyond her control. So we tried to design our lighting to simulate like the daylight in this space. So, and here's you can see the wall. You turn back to the lobby, and we provide the substitute proposal for the ceiling and also the backlight backlight of the flying asparagus. So create an atmosphere of daylight, light blue, and also can change to gold. And here you can see the picture. We put aiming our light more on the upper part of the painting. And here the backlight of the asparagus. And for the accent light, we hide our lighting fixtures on the platform beside the foot of the asparagus. And this is beautiful, the tower place. It is very tall, and we combine the layers of narrow beam spotlights and color-changing ambience light and the special LED starlights at the top to highlight the highest this grand hall. And we hope the spectators will stop and look up at the site. We expect that will be attracted by the arts, and their thoughts can go beyond this space. And here's the ambience lighting to change to the gold. And gold light are always the Buddhist favorite. And this is a detail in the tower house. Another sacred hall in this building is we call it Sacred Hall, and which annexes to the main building of Buddha Palace. And in this hall, there will be accommodated for the venues for meeting. 1,000 monks will together in this area to have the meeting. So we have to solve the general lighting for the table plane for 300 lux level, and we can see the section. It is very tall, and it's very high place, very space place. And here's the lighting layers in the hall, and we put our functional lighting at the 10.8 level. It is a recessed downlight, which is 150 watt CDM light. It is 4,200 Kelvin. Because at that time, the LED light is not so mature. But for the pedals of the dome, we use the LED lights. And actually, at the very beginning, we designed the backlight, which is the warm white. But later, after we participate in the meeting arranged by the owner, we know that in this hall, they will also work as actually a opera, a theater, and they will have a 270 circular projection screen and a mobile stage setting in this space to exhibit the story of Buddha, how he became a Buddha from a prince. So we try to create a lighting environment to cope the space, to match the space, and to reveal to the story of the Buddha. And we have to read a lot of Buddha sutras. And here's the chapter 22, Precious Lotus and the Buddha's Lies. Because in Buddha Sutra, scripture, that dreamlight land is a world full of different colors of lotuses, and which are all shiny cool color, and the mentioned color including cyan and dark white, yellow, and red, purple. Actually, it means infinite color. So we try to create a space like description in the sutra. And at that time, actually, we didn't have the 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 chip. We have to use a color chip, high voltage, to mix the white color, and also we have focus on the golden color. And the lighting supplier help us a lot to create the dynamic lighting. And during our stage, also the artists, they changed the lotus carving from high relief to shallow relief, so the shadow were not so high. And here's a picture of the mock-up at site. And when the lighting is in golden color, it will be splendid and the favorite color of the Buddhists. And also in this building, there are a lot of meeting rooms. And here is the room of Han Dynasty. It is Chinese style. And this is the style of Southern Buddhism. And here is the Tibet style of the meeting venue. And when we finished our lighting design of work, actually I was very anxious about how the customers, the owner will appraisal our lighting effect. Only when I occasionally see this thing, one of the believer, one of the Buddhists, when he stepped from the entrance hall to the corridor hall, and he suddenly worshipped the golden Buddha at the far end of the hall with her foot and hands and her whole body on the floor. I was touched by her deep face, and at the same time, I was relieved from a long-term anxiety. Now let's talk about another project. It is Nishan Confucius Palace. This project was located at the birthplace of Confucius, which developed by the same owner of Linshan Buddha, the previous project. but it aimed for promoting Chinese traditional culture. Confucius had been called saint in China, and his statue. And I tried to write a poem to give me to how understand of the Confucius. And he lived in more than 2,000 years ago. And also, Confucius has been criticized violently as a running dog of the rulers within the latest revolution age. And when I was a small child, it is in 1966 to 1976. But nowadays, after China opened the door to outside world for more than 40 years, we began to searching from our history, from our cultural confidence. And actually, as my opinion, I see Confucius is a man, and also he's a great thinker. It is after him, China has the Chinese culture has going to a civilization, and also he's a great educator. He has a lot of students. So this building was built to worship Confucius, and also for tourism. And his plan, since in this building there are a lot of places, a lot of halls, so we try to create a different experience in these spaces. And here I would like to show you a short a video to help you to get the impression of this project. So we view Confucius as a great candle in Chinese history, and his thoughts passed through his disciples to Chinese history from generations to generations, and still affect our in nowadays. And knowing all the background of Confucius, it is easy for me to decide the lighting concept. So we try to create our lights in this space. We have two kinds of the light forms. One is a light exposed in the space, and then the lights we try to harden, which is most for the functional lighting. So we use light as, especially the candlelight, as a symbol of Confucius' thoughts. We work together with interior designer to strengthen the existence of candlelights by the pending lights and wall-mounted lights, and also even the floor lights. And here is the lobby you have seen in the video. And here is the stairs halls. And actually at this hall, there will be a performance to show in the form of traditional ritual. To increase the vertical illuminance, we had to place the spotlight fixtures on the back of the parallel beams. And they have a saying that once you walk through all the steps in the hall, you now really climb up in the university, the Great Hall. And here's the 72 Disciples Hall, and all the statues are made by Chinese traditional clay figurine technique. And this hall also can work for the meeting. So we have to design the downlights in the hanging lighting structures. And in this space, we worked with together with the interior designer to create this hanging structure, combined the functional lighting and also the accent light and the ambience light in this hanging structure. And this is a benevolence hall. Actually, this hall is a multi-function hall, which is can for show and conference, and also can for students handwriting the analects of Confucius. And there are a lot of hanging of candlelights in this space. And we designed, as original, the interior designer, the form is square. But later, after the mock-up in the site, on the site, in the site, they choose the owner and also the interior designer, they choose the rounding version. And also in this space, we install the functional light on the beams and the downlights, so we can try to see if our functional light are enough. And here's a picture taken during a lighting show at this space. And here also a small video in this hall to try to explain the spirit of benevolence and also the spirit of Confucius. And here is we call this 4 small halls. It is around the Grand Benevolence Hall. And in each hall, which have a theme, such like the left Justice Hall, it is correspondent to the white tiger. And the Intelligence Hall is correspondent to black tortoise. And the Faith Hall corresponds to azure dragon. And the Order Hall is for a vermilion bird. And even in the affiliated spaces, we proposed candle lights. And even in the meeting room, the candlelights also be important elements. And now we go to the last project, Guanyin Altar. We have completed this project at 2020. And we win the ILD Excellence Award of this year. And it is near coastal. Actually face a very famous religious mountain called Putuo Mountain. So Guanyin Altar was planned to be a new style building to worship Guanyin, and at the same time a place open to tourists and for conference. So it is a real religious place and will be administrated by Buddhists. And here is a section of the interior. So in the interior space, there will be nice floors. And the most important is in the middle, we call it the Yuantong Hall. It is from the first floor to the 8th floor. And in Lotus Sutra, there was some words for Guanyin. It is a short poem. I try to translate here. It is unsullied, clean light, penetrate dark like the wisdom of Buddha, and can overcome all disasters and light up the earth. So Guanyin Bodhisattva is very special. Actually, he was originated from India religious, and later moved to China, into Shanghai, China, and he changed his appearance from the male to the female. So she became the very famous goddess in Chinese culture, which is the goddess of mercy. So whoever you can see and hear all, who can see and hear all the mysteries and happening everywhere. If you believe Buddhism and recite the name of Guanyin, and she will hear you and come to rescue you from pain. And Guanyin in China is always wearing a white castle. So after review the interior concept, we concluded the light should be clean and soft and solemn. The main color tone should be clean white. And also the interior design, the materials is in white marble, and the concrete was with white painting, and the aluminum and glass infrastructure also in white. So the color is very important, since we want to use the color to set the tone for this building, and because which should be match the appearance of Guanyin. Later we choose 3,000 Kelvin for the general function lighting, and 3,500 Kelvin for the floodlight of the white marble. And here's our concept for the entrance hall and the hall of Yuantong Hall. And at the very beginning, we propose a suspension ring in this space because we hope to combine the downlight in the huge ring, and also we plan to hide some upward lighting in the ring. So the Guanyin statue at the dome could be more soft. And here is our simulation. But later this proposal was rejected by the chief interior designer. Later we choose this concept, so without the ring. It looks more clean and and we combined our functional lighting on the surface of the concrete structure. And here's a picture of our calculation. And here's another video to show our VR simulation. To ensure the effect in the space, we ask a VR company to help us to simulate, actually to calculate the lighting effect. And here's a picture of the entrance hall. We try to create a bright appearance in this hall. And here's a view angle from the second floor. So when you come into this hall, it is very bright, like the light of sunlight into the space. And this is a Yuantong Hall. After you stepped in from the entrance lobby, and at the face, you will face a wood carving statue of the Guanyin. And here, if you pop up your head, you can see the luminous structure. It is like a downlight to shine light into the space. And the lovely pictures of the floor. And here we use aluminum and glass structure as our lighting tube to, let's say, to guide the light into the space. And here the picture, you stand at the 6th floor or corridor. And here's another view when you stand in the 6th floor corridor. So it provides a soft white light for the whole corridor space. And during the light show, it will be to appear the light blue. The color is sea water. And here's the details of our lighting implementation, from the drawing to the mock-up and to the commissioning, the testing on site. I will not go to too details. And for all the statues at the dome, we get a lot of calculation, and the light arrangement is different on every floor. And the testing of the statue, actually, at the beginning, the statue is in a silver gold, but later, after testing, light testing, the monks and the interior design, chief interior design, they choose a golden light. And here's the backlight for the statues, and which is we choose the CK pure style linear floodlight. Since it is very slim and have perfect color mixing, and also the hand-by-hand plug-in, the wiring is a big advantage for installation and maintenance. And here's the lighting for the aluminum structure, the main structure. It is the same luminaire, pure style. And the luminaire was hidden in the reserved slots. And here you can see we work together with Philips Lighting, Eric, and the other colleagues to help us to specify the colors, what we want. And here's a planning of power supply and light control accessories for the luminaire. Since we can only install the light accessories at the top or at the frame of the concrete. The design of the top ceiling light, the lighting system was also supplied by Philips Lighting. It was a textile panel, LED. And the main wood carving statue in this in Yuantong Hall, it is very huge. It is 1,000 eyes, 1,000 hands Guanyin. It is in wood. And we put our lighting fixtures on the floor, both on the floor and some of the accent light on hidden in the canopy. And also around at the 6th and the 7th and the 8th floor, there are some small Buddha halls, which around the corridor. And all these halls are in Chinese traditional style. And the lighting, we set the scenes for the lighting. Every room can be dimmed down, have different choice of the scenes. And this is another style of the hall. And this hall is the Han Dynasty style. And this is a Qing Dynasty style. So in all these small halls, they have a theme, and the accent light are very important. And this is a special hall called East Glazing Light World. We work together with the interior designer to create a dreaming world with backlight of wood grating and the lights in layers of glass. And the accent lighting are very important in all the small halls. And we try to hide the accent lighting fixtures at the back of the alcoves. And the very last important room, is a brightness tower. It is at the topest. And in this hall, we create a bright environment for the hall. And in the back, it is very warm. Guanyin statue, it is a jade material, seated on the lotus petals and like rising from the seawater. And here is a lighting diagram. It is in normal white. And in this special space, we also designed a special lighting effect. We worked together with artists who painted all the white walls with fluorescent coatings. And we used 308 nanometer UV lighting fixture to light up the walls. And because it copes with the Buddha verse, everything in the world, like dreams and bubbles, like lightning and dewdrops, we should perceive the world like this. And here's a short video in the. And here is our arrangement of the UV fluorescent lighting. We focused all the lights on the walls. So if the visitors in this space, so you don't worry about the harm of UV lights. Since we have calculated per square meter, it is just 1.9 watt. It is the lowest, the weakest, if you compare to the weather, normal weather. And also, it is only played, the light show, in 3 minutes. So don't worry about the harm of the UV light. So now I have completed all my sharings today, and I have talked about the relation between lighting design and interior design. And as a lighting designer, we should govern the interior space as hand of the king. And I have talked about 3 projects. It is Linshan Buddha, and also the Confucius Palace, and the Guanyin Altar, all located in East China. So I hope if you have a chance to visit China, maybe one day you can visit these projects. And then last, if you ask, how can we reveal the spirit of projects? I list the 5 points for your reference. I think the most important thing is we should explore our projects wholly and thoroughly and put our own soul in it. And we should use all kinds of the lighting, way of lighting to inspire the spirit of the place.